could sit here and break this down, and CC and I would then bore everybody to death by getting into the bench of the Atlanta Hawks, which, trust me, we'll probably do off the air. But what this really means is that it seems like, guys, the Warriors, Giannis, that may not be happening. Here's Shams Charania, ESPN Senior NBA Insider on the Midnight Eastern Sports Center about the Warriors and Giannis after this Kuminga trade.
The Warriors' pursuit of Giannis Antetokounmpo after a week is over. They have moved on clearly with these moves, but my understanding is the Warriors made a pick-heavy offer last week, continued to have conversations going into this week with the Bucks, but they came to the belief over the last 24 hours, the Warriors did, that the Bucks were not going to be moving their two-time MVP at this trade deadline. We'll see if that holds true over the next 24 hours, but they decided they were going to move forward here. They've also traded Trace Jackson Davis to the Toronto Raptors for a 2026 Lakers second-round pick.
CC, in your mind, this takes the Warriors out of the Giannis sweepstakes, or there is no Giannis sweepstakes?
Yes, would be the answer. I think the Warriors are out for now, and good for Milwaukee. Not trading Giannis until they have more clarity about the landscape of the NBA, where everything falls with the lottery, draft picks, so on and so forth, so they can know exactly what they're getting when they do decide to trade their franchise player and they extract maximum value. I still think Giannis is going to be on the move. I just don't think it's going to happen before 4 p.m. today. And so I think the Warriors moved on and they pivoted to somebody that they believe can be healthy enough to help them when they gear up for the stretch run post-All-Star break and potentially whatever happens in the postseason. But I look at this decision to move on from Kuminga, and I say that the Golden State Warriors wanted to get somebody that Steve Kerr was comfortable playing in the rotation. And on paper, Porzingis does fit a need. He does provide them some size. The Warriors have been undersized for years. And so Porzingis will bring some rim protection. He's the ultimate pick and pop type of guy. You can add size and you can space the floor without sacrificing any of the shooting that you have on the court at any one time. So I like the idea of Kristaps Porzingis with the Golden State Warriors. It's just that I don't know how much of Kristaps Porzingis you're going to see. He's only played in 5 games over the last 2 months.
Smalls, same thing for you. What do you think on this? And I agree with you, by the way. Side note, I think that in theory, Kristaps Porzingis on the Golden State Warriors, a healthy version of him, makes a ton of sense for them. Smalls, this takes the Warriors out of Giannis, the Giannis sweepstakes, or there are no Giannis sweepstakes right now?
I don't think there are the sweepstakes right now because everything that you're hearing and reading about this situation is that the Warriors were pretty aggressive in their pursuit of Giannis, calling the Bucks, making several offers, trying to do whatever they could to get him moved by today. And they clearly got a read on the situation that Milwaukee was not going to make a move, and so they pivoted. So I would say that based on us knowing that the Warriors were so in on this, if they're saying it's not going to happen, I would say there's no sweepstakes at all.
And, guys, I've never thought he was going to get traded this week. And I guess there's still a chance he does by the deadline this afternoon. And, you know, you're hearing 2 teams seemingly could still be in the mix if it's today in Miami and Minnesota. But let's be very clear on something. If Giannis gets traded today, he could spin it any which way he'd like. And I'm not clowning on Giannis because he may be on my team, so I definitely may not clown on him. But he can spin it any which way he likes. CC, if he gets traded today, it's because he asked out. Like, because there's no logic for them to do it today and quote unquote rush the move versus do exactly what you said, which is we're going to wait. We're going to see where the lottery balls fall. We're going to see what pick we have. Highest they can get is number 2 because they have a swap with Atlanta by way of New Orleans pick. And, like, let's see what happens. Let's see what we can get for other guys on this team this year or into the summer. And let's see if we can rebuild you a championship team or at least attempt to one more time before we trade you, and then you sign that extension in October. So if he gets traded today, I think it's pretty clear he could say what he wants, but he then officially asked out in my mind.
Yeah, but I don't think there's enough moves to be made for the Milwaukee Bucks, given the constraints that they have with the Damian Lillard stretch wave contract still on their books, where they can put a contender around Giannis. I just don't see a pathway to doing that. They may attempt to, but I think the ship has sailed in terms of Giannis being with the Bucks beyond this season. But I do think he's going to finish out the year in Milwaukee, and the biggest reason why is because Giannis didn't want to be the bad guy this summer and shoot his way out of town. I understand that Milwaukee is going to be his forever home and that he's going to have a statue built out there in front of that Fiserv Arena at some point. And so maybe he's trying to preserve the sentiment that fans feel toward him, but he's doing that at the cost of a year in his prime at the height of his powers. Now, I know he's had some injury issues this season dealing with a couple of calves, but still remains Giannis could have been healthy enough to gear up for a postseason run and potentially make it a push for a championship. He's foregoing the opportunity to do that this year in April, May, and June in an effort to be the, quote, good guy on his way out of town. But the reality is this. These two are careening toward a divorce, and it's going to end this summer. And the only question is, where is Giannis going to land? Not if Giannis is going to be back with Milwaukee next year.
You know what your comments just made me think about, CC, is the idea that any player, based on actions in any sport, could theoretically have fans turn on them. Because No, because what CC is saying is his goal, Giannis's goal is to win a championship.
Right.
Giannis's goal is to have the statue one day, which he will, outside Pfizer, because he basically built that place and downtown Milwaukee, Deer District area. I remember when we were there, and CC looked up, we were in this hotel, and he looks over and he turns to me and goes, boy, this is nice.
This is awesome.
And that's
really
like,
great.
Awesome.
and it's all Giannis.
It's
He's
awesome.
the one
area that Giannis built.
It's beautiful. And like, they'll tell you, he built it. But it also goes to show you that we as fans can be fickle. We are very much attached to our athletes. And even someone like Giannis is worried, could I potentially get them to turn on me?
But I think that there's a way you finesse it when you talk about how much you love the city and how much you love the fan base, and that you'll always be have a piece of your heart in Milwaukee. I mean, he talks about the fact that he's lived there longer than he's lived almost anywhere else in his entire life.
Yeah.
And he always talks about what the community means to them. And I actually disagree with you, because I think that people will be more mad at the Bucks than they will at Giannis. I think a lot of times we as fans, when our favorite player leaves, we tend to side with the player. It depends on how they do it.
Yeah, I was about to say, Smalls.
Obviously context matters, but if a superstar like this is like, I want to stay here, but I can't win here, I don't think they're going to fault him for that.
But one of the biggest storylines that we have here at the Super Bowl, believe it or not, is that the Patriots fans are mad at Brady. Like, think about what I just said. The Patriots fans are mad at Tom Brady because he won't say that he's rooting for New England in this game. Now, he owns another team. The coach that he's about to hire as head coach is the offensive coordinator of Seattle. But, like, this is what happens. You do one thing, we turn on you if we assume you turn on us. That's really what it comes down to, right? If you get the impression that, oh, wow, like this athlete, this person, this coach, whoever it may be, turned on us, we then turn on you. Now, I don't think Giannis has turned on the Bucks in any way, shape, or form. But CeCe's point is the exit strategy is as much about title as it is about statue, correct?
Correct. And, Evan, I would just ask you this question. When's the last time a player asked out a star player and everybody sided with the star player over the team? Very rarely happens. And the reason why is because the name on the back of the jerseys are going to change, but the name on the front of the jersey doesn't. That the team is going to be there forever. So it's hard for the fan to stay upset at the team because that's their team. But they can direct their ire, their frustration of losing a star player at the star player. Very rarely happens where a star player asks out and nobody blames the star player.
Coming up, can we officially crown a trade the worst trade in the history of sports? We will get to that coming up next. We're on Sportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance.
NBA Saturday primetime on ESPN Radio. Two teams in the middle of a crowded Western Conference playoff race go head-to-head in L.A.